everyone. Thanks again for stopping by my channel, Lose Life Pearls, where I reflect on my life revelations and the things that I'm just wanting to share and talk about at the time. So I promise authenticity. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know by now I have a 5-month-old baby boy, and he is with me a lot in my videos, so we like to hear him chirping also every now and then. So today I want to talk about my top 3 mantras to go through to get through life-changing times. So I thought it was pretty relevant with everything going on right now, especially with COVID-19, as people's jobs are changing. There's a lot of us, or a lot of you out there, that are currently unemployed or looking for other work. Finances are changing, our lifestyle is changing. We're not able to go the places we used to go before. If you have older kids, you know, maybe you're not driving them around as much as before. Our whole world kind of has changed all at the same time with this pandemic. So it's really important to learn how to get through changing times. So, you know, in a way, talking about these mantras I'm going to share, it's not just about getting through life-changing times, it's just about getting through life itself, because pretty much the one guarantee in life is change. There's no way that your day-to-day right now today is going to be the same exact day-to-day that you're going to go through in 50 years. So if we can really learn how to cope with change, we're like setting ourselves up for a really good life. Okay, so a mantra is, it kind of came from like Buddhism or like the Hinduism religion, and it was just like a sound that would be repeated to help concentrate during meditation. But it also is like a statement or like a slogan that you repeat frequently just in your mind to help you get through something. So I just wanted to clarify that before like jumping into this. So so the very first mantra is, I will cross that bridge when I come to it. A lot of the time I hear from a lot of people just that we're kind of like anticipating that thing that we think is going to stress us out. And it can be a number of things. It can be like a hard conversation that you're dreading having. It can be like a dreaded task that you're not really wanting to do. It can be maybe you're like awaiting news of some sort. Maybe it's like a diagnosis that you're waiting to hear about, or maybe you're about to deliver a baby and you've never done that before, and it's this big unknown process that you can't get away from it. It's gonna happen. Or it could be a confrontation you're about to have, or it could be maybe like a moment in time you're nervous about. You know, if there's any of you who have like my 5-year plan or like my 10-year plan, maybe you're doing things to try and kind of get to certain goals, and maybe the thought of those steps are stressing you out. Or even just aging, you know, getting older and all the things that come along with that. I know, getting older. Hey, why can't we just be babies? He's like, yeah, getting older, that's scary. That's scary. You know, and right now I hear a lot of what ifs, you know, like especially in the very beginning of when, you know, the United States was announcing that we were going to be, you know, shutting down. All of a sudden we're hearing, well, what if I lose my job? Or, you know, what if I'm unemployed and I don't get my job back? Or what if you know, we can't pay the bills next month? Or what if, you know, what if we get sick? Or what if someone that I love dies? What if someone that I know that I care about gets this virus? Or what if this all goes longer than planned? We'll cross the bridge when we come to it, because a lot of these things. Hey, Mr. Man, that's rude to interrupt. Rude to interrupt. A lot of these things might not even happen. So just by repeating that mantra, I will cross this bridge when I come to it, there's just kind of a sense of peace in knowing, okay, I'm not at that point yet, so really I don't need to worry about that thing right now, because all of those what ifs that I just fabricated in my mind might not even happen. On the flip side of that, at the same time, that doesn't mean that we just are ignorant to potential things that can come up. It is important to plan for certain things in life, right? So okay, we're gonna take precautions, we're gonna make sure we're following guidelines, we're washing our hands, and we're staying home, and we're just gonna be as healthy as we can be, and if we get it, then we'll deal with it. But it's not in our control, whether someone else gets it, or it's not in control whether we can keep our job. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. There's lots of things going on in the government right now, changing guidelines, or there's lots of, lending companies that are, letting you defer payments, or, as things are transpiring, the things that maybe, would have been a concern before aren't. Banks are being more forgiving about certain things, or mortgages are being more forgiving, or student loans, there's no interest on student loans for a short amount of time, or if you're unemployed and it's because of COVID, you don't have to be seeking active work for the first few months, so we'll cross the bridge as we come to it. Nobody knows how these things are going to transpire. Some of these things we have to take moment by moment. But with all of that being said, I kind of already said it, but the second mantra is just to say in your head, change is a part of life and it's okay. So instead of seeing change and just instantly getting uncomfortable with it and just resisting it and just hating it and I'm a person that doesn't like change. If you stay that way, you'll become, if you're not already, a very stressed out person. I know, we don't like change. He's like, yeah. And it kind of goes back to, I've said in the past to that other mantra of, be here now. And that's basically just because we know that life is going to change. We know we're going to get older. We can't deny it. We know one day we're not going to be here anymore, and we don't know how. Hey, Mr. Man. Man, it's really painful to have teeth growing in. Got little tiny first tooth coming in right down here, and we don't like it. As I was saying, change is a part of life, and it's inevitable. We are going to constantly be going through phases of life that change, whether it's, it can be anything. It can be physical things, of course, as we've talked about, like our health, or our hormones, or, something physically happens, but it can be things like all of a sudden you live on your own, and before you lived with somebody else, or vice versa. Maybe you're used to living on your own and now you're living with somebody, or now you're having a child. That's a huge life change. Or now your babies are leaving the nest and you're back to being by yourself again. Or maybe we're retiring and we're not working at all and now our day-to-day looks different. We just have to deal with change. We just have to learn to accept it. Hey! All right, well, thank goodness for daddies. Thank goodness that I'm not doing this all by myself. I know there's a lot of you out there who do raise children on your own, and you're just like a saint. You're an angel, and you're amazing. Okay, so as I was saying, be here now, be in the moment, and just when we accept the unknown, we're just able to trust that we're going to be okay when there's change. For some reason, when there's a change, we just all of a sudden think worst case scenario, all of the what ifs come into our mind, and we just feel like we're not going to be okay for whatever reason, but we are. But you do have to be open to adapting. If we go into moments of change completely resistant with our walls up, life is going to be harder. It just is. So, if you're okay with that and you want to live a really, really hard life and be really stressed out, then absolutely just hate change and don't be willing to make any changes and don't do anything different and just dread the unknown. If we're unwilling to change the way we think, then we just have to accept that we're going to think the same and feel the same about it. And if that's okay with you, then okay. So the third mantra is happiness is a choice and not a condition, and I choose to be happy. So a lot of the times in life, we kind of feel that something could be making us happy, you know, oh, if I had fill in the blank, then I would be happy. Without us realizing it, maybe we actually attained that thing that we said we were going to fill in the blank, and then at that point in time we say, well, if I had whatever, then I would be happy. You know, we start letting those things of comparison seep into our brain as we look at the world around us, and we're comparing what everyone else has compared to what we don't have, and we're just unwilling to be happy. How many of you out there have said, well, if I was a millionaire, I wouldn't be unhappy? I don't understand why there's all of these rich people out there ending their own lives. I don't understand how you could be unhappy when you have all of that money. Well, money isn't everything. I'm not saying that we should just not be upset because we don't have it the worst off, based off the worst off person in the world, whoever that person is. Maybe some of you are like, oh yeah, that's me, I'm the worst off person in the whole world. Okay, I'm sorry. You're allowed to have your own personal struggles in your life, of course. However, still, if you're wanting to be happy, you still realize that in the midst of all of those things that you're struggling with, you can still choose to be happy. Just don't forget that it's a choice to be happy, and do not make the mistake of looking to other people for your happiness to satisfy that for you. Kind of goes back to my previous pearls that I've talked about. You do have to be okay with yourself in order to really feel happiness, because while we're just like totally indulging in the outside world and everything that the outside world has to offer, if we're neglecting what's going on the inside, it's so hard to achieve true happiness, not just like fleeting random moments that make us feel positive. We can't be looking to other people to tell us why we're amazing or why we're awesome or why we're of value. We have to know that for ourselves. A lot of the times in marriages, I see that a lot, where people get married saying, they make me so happy, I'm just so happy with that person, they just complete my life, and I just want to live my whole life with that person who just makes me happy. I hear what you're saying. You obviously don't want to marry somebody unhappily. Everyone wants to be happily married, but the key to the happiness is taking care of yourself. But if you go into the marriage expecting this other person to deliver you everything, whether it's a certain life that you're wanting, or emotional things that you need, or physical things that you need, or material things, you know, if you're really needing that person to do certain things to make you happy, I don't really know of any human that can like deliver that to anybody. Ultimately, when it comes to dealing with change, we're really just dealing with life, and it's important how we talk to ourselves, the tone that we talk to ourselves in, and the things that we say in our brain are going to manifest in how we are in this physical world. So those top mantras, just remember, just repeat in your mind, I will cross that bridge when I come to it. Okay, so snuff out all of those what if thoughts. I will cross that bridge when I come to it. And the second mantra, change is a part of life, and that's okay. And that last mantra, happiness is a choice and not a condition. I choose to be happy for me. No one can bring me my happiness but myself. So I hope that this was fruitful for everybody that was joining me in this journey as I reflect on these new thoughts that I've been working on saying in my brain. These are really life-changing, and I hope if anybody's watching, maybe it can be life-changing for you too. So thank you.